Hey everyone, I'm Peter, and this is my first video for 2026. So thank you so much for joining me again for another year in the crypto space, where I talk about everything about the Midnight blockchain and also the Cardano blockchain as well as many others. I'll be talking about a lot of different chains this year as I expand and look into what's happening in the crypto space more broadly. But this is quite an interesting episode, and I've got a lot to cover here. But let me go through this very first video here with the CEO of Coinbase, talking about his stance and the current condition of the current crypto rules. So let me just play you this clip.
Got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen. The banks had their own concerns, and we reached a good outcome in the Genius Act. And now the banks really are coming and trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda. I mean, these are the same banks that debanked him and his family, right? And they want to come in and say that Americans should not be able to actually earn more money on their money. They're trying to protect their own profit margins, taking money out of the pockets of hardworking average Americans and putting it into the coffers of these big banks that are hitting record profits. And so our view is that there should be a level playing field where banks and crypto companies can lean into stablecoin legislation as an opportunity, and that includes paying rewards to Americans so that they can earn more money on their money. Got the Genius Act.
And that's where we're at the moment. So the banks are stalling this and essentially gatekeeping, controlling what's happening within the stablecoin side of things. And ideally, really, we do want to see if Coinbase was holding onto your crypto assets and you were staking it there, that you could earn rewards from that. That's the whole point of that whole staking ecosystem. It makes it really appealing. Then companies like Coinbase would be holding more stable coins, etc., etc. Now, the banks don't want that. They want those crypto assets within their holdings so they can do something with it, earn more revenue and loan it out, all the things that banks do to make more revenue and generate income from it. So they don't want the crypto companies to play around in this space. So this is what's happening at the moment. And we really do want to see the regulations open up so that crypto players can play in that space and not just the big banks alone. So apparently, from what I've read so far, the CEO of Coinbase here would pull his support for this particular bill at the moment. And if that happens, the current bill as it stands would collapse and would have to be redone and go back to the drawing board, or may not even pass at all. So it might be at a stalling state. So we'll keep our eyes open to see what's happening with this one here, but it's a little unfortunate to see that it is at this point. But hopefully things do move forward and we see a better outcome for it. Now, the next thing I did want to look at here is the current price of Midnight. Now, I've been taking a break since the Christmas period, and it was nice to see the Night token from the Midnight blockchain go up quite a bit, but it's slowly and steadily going down as the big hype and everything has kind of settled. It's gone down to 5 cents, essentially 5 cents USD. It's dropping a little bit more. I predict it will drop a little bit further. Tokens after launch usually do drop, especially after the hype and the excitement's all gone. Now, the mainnet hasn't launched yet. Everything's on testnet, so we may see another pump or another boost in enthusiasm once mainnet launches and more dApps and things roll out on mainnet. So we'll have to wait a couple of months to see that come into play. But I will be heading over to Japan really soon. Fingers crossed that I do. But I'll be heading over to Japan to attend some of these meetups over there around midnight and learn a little bit more about what's happening within the ecosystem, talk to some projects and meet some people that are actually building on Midnight as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Fingers crossed it does actually happen. Nothing's really confirmed yet, but I might be able to get over there. Now, if you want to learn more or be a part of the Midnight ecosystem itself, you can become an ambassador. They've opened up the cohort 2 for the Midnight ambassadors. I am a part of cohort 1, so I managed to get into that first phase. But you can join up here and become an ambassador. From what I understand, there may be monetary compensation for it. I haven't seen it or can confirm that yet. But there may be something in there for people. So if you are interested, if you want to learn more about Midnight, if you want to be engaged with the community itself, you can join and become an ambassador. The form is pretty straightforward, quite easy to fill in, nothing too intrusive. If you can though, if you put my name down as a referrer for where you've heard about this, that would be really appreciated. Now, what's actually building at the moment and releasing on Midnight? And I thought this was a good one to go through because this one here has been getting a little bit of attention. Now, this was firstly known as Defensio or Defense.io when it launched right after the Midnight mining phase. They set up their own mining operations where you could mine. So it kind of funneled in a lot of those people that were mining for Midnight and now could mine for Defensio. So they went through a rebrand. They're now called Nocy, and they've launched their own wallet, DEX, and Explorer on Midnight at the moment. So remember, this is all on testnet. So they've gone through and done all that. I have not tried any of this stuff yet. If you do, you can try it out for yourself. You can get to the website at nocy.io. If you were a part of the mining operations that they had, you can start claiming your tokens as well. It's a very similar claiming process. But they have a wallet, they have an Explorer that's live, and you can check that all out. So it's kind of good that we see delivered applications and whatnot before a token launch and all that. So it's good to see that the team are actually behind it and pushing forward with development. Now, the only thing I don't like, well, there's a couple of things I don't like. Firstly, the wallet itself, it's a downloadable extension. So it's a browser extension. It's not listed on the Google Store yet. And I know when you list on the Google Store, you do have to go through some extra vetting, and that hasn't been done yet. So I won't be downloading it or installing this until it gets onto the Google Extension Store. Just one of those risk things that I'm just a little bit worried about. So I'll wait for that to actually happen first. I can't exactly extract this code and decipher what it's doing, but at least if it goes through the audit process on the Google Store, I have some sense of security. I think security is the right word before I install anything. So that's just one thing there, just to keep in mind. The other thing here that they're trying to launch is a launchpad. Now, DEX, yeah, that's fine. DEXs are needed. Explorers, yep, definitely needed. Launchpad in 2026? I don't know. Every launchpad I've been in since I've gotten into Cardano has failed. I haven't seen a successful launchpad or a project launch from a launchpad over the last 4 years. So I really think the launchpad model is something that died with ICOs back in 2017. So I don't think this is a particularly good idea of a launchpad. Majority of projects can just open up a social media account and start gaining traction that way. They don't really need marketing services of a launchpad to really do things. So first, the Explorer, great. DEX, great, fantastic. Wallet, not so much at the moment. And launchpad, kind of wait and see. If you can give me an example of a launchpad that's worked really well in any ecosystem over the last couple of years, last 2 years, let me know. I'll have a look into it. But I haven't seen a launchpad that has worked at all. All right. Next stuff. Now, this other project here is also building something on Midnight, and I thought this was a really good use case for blockchain, especially with Midnight with its privacy-focused side of things. This is Keyed Network, and they're building an identity solution for the chain itself, and it'll be obviously chain agnostic as they start to expand over to different blockchains, but primarily using Midnight for that privacy layer. So we're building the Keyed Network MVP with Midnight technology, leveraging its focus on privacy and security to create an identity layer that protects users by design. So that's what they're all about. You can follow the links here. I have gone to their social profiles and started following them as well. So if you want to find out more, check them out. Links down below in the show notes. I have also now interviewed my very first project that is building on Midnight, and this is Atlas DeFi, and they're looking at unlocking potential liquidity from your assets. So it might be something like ADA staking rewards or even IAG staking rewards from Igon, and those rewards get locked in for a period of time if you're staking. So for example, if you're staking IAG, you lock it into a 12-month smart contract, and you can't get those rewards out. But you know they're worth X amount because you're being paid out the amount that's been locked in. So a protocol like Atlas will allow you to unlock that value and then use those tokens now. And then at the end of the period, you won't get anything else. People can buy and trade that type of liquidity early on. So it makes it like a really interesting DeFi play. So if you want to check out the interview, it will be on my channel for members really soon. And then open to public, I think, in early February. I can't remember the date exactly, but it was good to learn a little bit more about what these guys were doing and how that tied into Midnight and everything that they're doing there too. So first interview with the Midnight project, really exciting stuff. Now this I thought was pretty cool, and Google Cloud was announced last year that they're working with the Midnight chain to build out some infrastructure. And one of the first things you need to do is set up a stake pool within the Cardano ecosystem, because it runs as a side chain thing or partner chain, however you want to say it. But you need to be able to run the Cardano side and also the Midnight node operations and pair them together. So this is the setup for the stake pool managed by Google Cloud for the Midnight side of things. Really exciting to see that. So we had the news. Google Cloud has published the hash metadata of its stake pool to the Cardano testnet blockchain. Big tech companies are gradually entering the Cardano and Midnight ecosystems. How exciting is that? That's really good to see. So I don't know what exactly they're going to do, but to see that taking the steps forward to actually make things happen and then start potentially building things and providing services that are private, really, really cool stuff. Here's another project to follow within the Midnight ecosystem, and this is an explorer. So when you're doing transactions on chain, you will need to look up your transaction from time to time, even though it's private in certain ways. You can make things private or be selective. Having the Explorer there so you can actually see transaction go online is really important. So there it is, and you can get to that at midnightexplorer.com. This is what it looks like here. It's pretty straightforward. You can see the transactions here, and you can go through them and get an understanding of how it all works, what is being pushed through, and all the transaction data, etc. Everything that you need to see, or what you could see, because it is a private transaction. Now over to some Cardano news. This is some pretty big news, especially if you're part of the DexHunter and Splash ecosystems. So Splash, the DEX out there, and DexHunter, the DEX aggregator, they're forming a plan to merge. So we're going to see Splash plus Hunt in the new token DHX, a new unified token. So what does this mean for the whole project and everything else? Here we go. We're merging Splash Protocol DEX and DexHunter to create a stronger Tier 1 trading platform, Cardano. So Splash plus Hunt token will combine into the DHX token. And here you can see the two variations that they're looking at. So we've got vote escrow, keep VHX of vote escrow mechanism, fee claim, gauge voting, 50% UI fees, buybacks. Then we also have pure buyback and burn, all protocol fees, DHX buybacks to burn, 24% supply reduction, proven model, no vote to escrow complexity. Interesting. I don't know which one's which will be best. Like if you're a token holder and you just want a token go up, probably the buyback is the ideal situation here. I do hold Splash and also the Hunt tokens, so always kind of good to earn a bit more revenue from whatever you're holding. So maybe the buyback and burn is probably the best idea here. I don't know. I need to do the math behind this to work it all out. But we'll see what happens here, but something to keep an eye on, especially if you're in these ecosystems. Now, this is a bit of really cool tech, and I saw this come out. I looked at it and went, I don't get it. But this is the multi-sigs that are needed for a bit of tech, which I'll talk about in a second, that will easily, that can sign for both Bitcoin and Cardano, and it's called Frost Express. So Andrew kind of explains this a little bit better. This is really cool. For those not aware, Frost signatures allow you to do an N to M multi-signature, but the final signature you add to the transaction is only the size of a single signature. So what that means is, like, when you do a multi-signature transaction, you have maybe 7 parties doing the signing, and each one of them may need to sign the transaction to get approved. Now that transaction gets bigger and bigger as more and more people sign. But what this does is compresses that or shrinks it or has a different format so that the size of it is the size of only one signer. So that makes it much more easily to get on chain. The less data that you need to submit on chain, the easier it is to get online because, for example, a block might be really full. And if there's a lot of transactions, your multi-sig transaction won't fit into that block because it's so big. You have a limited amount of space. So having this shrunken down to the size of a normal transaction makes it easier to get on chain. So that's really the key thing here. So we're basically pre-combining the signatures into one before doing the transaction. Really cool stuff. Now, this all comes down to what they're doing with the ADA and Bitcoin bridge. Now, this is the Bifrost bridge, the BTC to ADA back and forth. Testnet documentation is almost ready. So the guys have been working really hard to get this all working and on chain. And we'll start to see tokens moving back and forth between Bitcoin and Cardano. This is going to be a part of that whole Bitcoin DeFi on Cardano layer in the future. So we're going to see a lot of this start to come into play and a lot of assets that could be living on Bitcoin, for example, at the moment, like all those ordinals example, can come over to Cardano and start playing around our DeFi ecosystem here. Really, really cool. So another really cool feature from FluidTokens is now that they have peer-to-peer lending on their platform. So now you can create custom loans with preset terms, interest rates, maturity period, and same liquidity mechanisms as their pooled lending. So if you haven't tried this out yet, do check it out. You have a lot of cool ways that you can use their platform now. So really, really good stuff from the team there. Now, they're continuously, like I said, they've been really busy over the holiday period. But LendFi was another platform out there in the Cardano ecosystem that did peer-to-peer lending. And that's kind of, over last year, they had a big, falling out or something. Developers left and the whole platform kind of went under after they found a vulnerability. And a lot of users there have liquidity stuck. And now the website is actually down as well. It kind of makes things even worse. But the FluidTokens team have created a interface to tap into those smart contracts. And now you can manage your LendFi liquidity and loans there, pull out all that stuff, and then move it over to FluidTokens. So that's really good that they've done that. So for anyone that's in the LendFi community, they can start moving their loans and moving them over to FluidTokens so that your liquidity, your loans, your collateral isn't lost there forever. So that's really good to hear. And thank you so much to the FluidTokens team for putting that together for everyone. Now, this is more FluidToken stuff. But they've teamed up with MinSwap to build something really cool here. And this is the Smart Token DEX. And they built together with FluidTokens and MinSwap. But this delivers the infrastructure Cardano needs to support regulatory compliant stablecoins with features like asset freezing. So when you look at Cardano, it doesn't have the feature natively to be able to freeze and seize assets. But this here, what they've been working on, allows you to potentially do this. So it allows you to use their platform here, which you can see at this particular URL. You can go there, you need to fill in the form if you're testing this out for the team. But you can go to the platform and start creating tokens that have the seize and freeze capabilities. Now, the smart contracts for this were implemented roughly about this time last year. So a couple of really smart developers have put this all together, and now the UI and interface and everything else has come into play as well. So this is the platform here for the SIP113 token, and you can start swapping, moving things around. But it's really cool to see that this is actually in play and working at the moment on testnet. And if you are testing out, please give the team some feedback so they know exactly how things are functioning and where things are working. But this opens up the doors for tokens such as USDC, such as USDT, and other tokens that need that regulatory compliance, that whatever compliance they're talking about, I don't know what it is, where tokens need to be frozen on those particular chains. So I know USDC and USDT need that, and for whatever reasons, anti-money laundering, all that stuff. Now, it's possible on the Cardano ecosystem from this particular interface at the moment. So that's really good stuff to see. It's taken a little while to progress this forward, but things are moving forward. Now, some more news around the stablecoin ecosystem on Cardano. This was a really interesting MoU, Memorandum of Understanding, between Emurgo Labs and W3iSoftware. So if you don't know, W3i is the team behind USDM. So Emurgo, I think the Emurgo, top Emurgo, so there's different branches of Emurgo, and I still don't understand all of them. I really should. But this has opened up USDM to a brand new different market. So this is starting with UAE and Egypt remittance corridor. They're exploring the compliance, scalability, blockchain solutions for payments, tokenized funds, and more with the W3iSoftware team. Really exciting stuff. It's a very small corridor between UAE and Egypt, but it's something to test on. And I know a lot of people from Egypt may go work in the UAE and send money back to Egypt, their families or whatever. So having that corridor there using USDM is really exciting stuff. And having this ability there, we could see potentially, if that works really well, more corridors open up and more adoption and usage of USDM overall. Really cool stuff. Really good to see the Cardano ecosystem expanding and different parts of the ecosystem working together, such as Emurgo, as what we're doing right here. Now, I thought this was really cool to see, and Lace Wallet have now integrated swaps directly into their wallet. So I do like Lace Wallet because it is very lightweight and quite simple in its design and interface. So if you just want to see what's in your wallet and move some funds around, Lace Wallet is really good for that. But now having the swap feature in there that uses a DEX aggregator is really cool too. So from what I've seen, I have used this, and the actual swap itself can use something, a DEX aggregator such as StealSwap, which has extremely low fees. And that is really exciting because if you are doing a swap, you have that ability to do it quickly and easily from the interface for a really low fee. So StealSwap is fantastic. I haven't seen it tap into like a DexHunter or anything like that yet. But seeing the swap there directly within StealSwap and the fees and how it's very low. So seeing the fees and everything there, it's really good. So great stuff there from the Lace team. I do highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't done so already. Now, the other wallets out there, such as Ternal, they also have their own built-in swaps that use DEX aggregators as well. But I do really like this one because it's so lightweight, it's so fast. I have swapped quite a few tokens through it already. So awesome work there from the Lace team. Now, the last thing I want to do a shout out for is Keystone Hardware Wallet. Now, if you haven't got a hardware wallet yet, this is probably my favorite one out there at the moment. This is the one I use personally as well. But the Keystone wallet has a touchscreen interface. And I think the best thing about it is that it is air gapped, as in you don't need to connect it into a computer or connect it with Bluetooth or anything like that. It uses QR codes and the camera interface to read the data that is needed for signing, signs it within the wallet itself, and then you send a QR code back with a camera like this so that the wallet interface knows that the transaction has been signed on the hardware wallet itself. So really cool way of doing it, completely air-capped, very secure device itself. So if you haven't checked out a Keystone wallet, I'll put links down below. I've got affiliate links down below. And if you do buy one through the affiliate link, really helps with the channel, helps me keep growing and doing all the things that I'm doing at the moment. Now, last thing I'll mention is that I do have YouTube channel memberships. And if you want to support the channel, a great way to do so is by becoming a channel member down below. All you need to do is click that membership link down below in the description, and it'll give you early access to a lot of the videos that I put out there, members only videos as well. And also now a link over to my Discord channel where members get priority access, where they can ask questions about and follow-up questions about certain videos that I do as well. So do check that out. If you do want to be a YouTube member, that would be absolutely awesome. Come and join the community. And if not, that's totally cool. You can just hit that thumbs up, that like, subscribe, notification bell on your way out. And I'll see you guys in the next video.